Now, 10 straight minutes of news brought to you by Boss Auto Network. Built on trust, driven by integrity.
We're following breaking news happening now out of Dayton. 2 escaped inmates from Indiana back behind bars tonight. There they are. Dayton police taking Chadwick Heath and Mike Roberts into custody along Gettysburg Avenue tonight. And that is where Elise Coulter is now live right now to explain how police were able to track these guys down. Elise?
Tonight, we're told an anonymous tip led police here to the 2100 block of North Gettysburg Avenue. Dayton police took both into custody just before 7 o'clock tonight. Now, their arrests come just one day after police found a truck that they're accused of using to break out abandoned along Gettysburg. In fact, they found that truck just a few blocks away Sunday night. Fayette County deputies have been searching for the 2 men since early Saturday morning. They say the 2 escaped through a 2-foot by 2-foot hole in the wall of their jail cell, and they allegedly escaped around 11:30 Friday night, but deputies didn't realize they were gone until they did their nightly walkthroughs. Heath is currently charged with 4 counts of dealing in a narcotic drug, maintaining a common nuisance, and visiting a common nuisance. Roberts is currently charged with burglary and 2 counts of theft, and he's also wanted for charges here in Ohio. Back out here alive tonight, the 2 are currently sitting in the Montgomery County Jail. Now, we're not sure if they're going to be facing any additional charges or when they'll be extradited back to Indiana. But we're going to be continuing to follow this incident, and we're told that they were arrested without incident tonight by Dayton police. I mean, like I said, we're going to continue to follow this story and bring you the latest on air and online. For now, reporting live in Dayton, Elise Coulter, Fox45Now.com.
All right, Elise, thank you. Our other big story tonight, high levels of lead forcing Dayton's largest hospital to turn off the tap. The EPA now investigating how water became unsafe to drink. Nathan Edwards live now at Miami Valley Hospital showing us how the issue is now being addressed. Nathan.
Well, Adam, right now the hospital is providing bottled water to its patients while it flushes out the water system. All doing this while they try to investigate it further.
A trip to the hospital is stressful enough, and when you add lead into the mix, it creates extra room for concern.
The danger of lead is a chronic thing.
Dr. Dennis Mann urging patients not to panic. He says lead is only dangerous if you're exposed to it for long periods of time, saying hospital operations should be business as usual.
Our patient flow, our workflow, our how we handle sick patients, none of that would change.
Encouraging news for 120 patients staying in the southeast wing of the hospital, the place the problem was found.
All of our patients, employees, visitors, we'd offer bottled water we shut the water fountains off.
The issue discovered last Friday by the Ohio EPA. Every 6 months, they test Miami Valley Hospital's water for metals.
We're working real hard to try to do additional testing and get our experts involved to find out exactly what the cause is.
Hospital President Mark Shaker suspects road work nearby. For 6 months, workers have been digging near water lines on Warren and Brown Streets. Right now, the building system is being flushed. So far, he says lead levels seem to be going down.
This is really about ingestion of water, so as long as we have an alternative water source, everybody in that tower is safe.
The EPA will continue to test the water supply here at the hospital. In the meantime, they'll continue to rely on bottled water, and it's not clear exactly how much longer they'll have to stick with this method of water. Live in Dayton, Nathan Edwards, Fox45Now.com.
All right, Nathan, thank you. Now, this isn't the first lead scare in the Miami Valley. Back in April, Layer Park in Miami Township was shut down after high levels were found in the soil. The park had been an old shooting range, and lead bullets there are believed to have been the cause. Yards at nearby homes were tested, but so far, no results have been released. Although at 10, 2 kids safe after being rescued from a hot car in Springfield. The sheriff tells us a child saw the 2 and 6-year-old left in the car outside of the Upper Valley Mall early this afternoon. He told his mom, who called 911. Police were able to get the kids out safely and release them to their dad. The mom, Cassandra Hall, is now facing child endangering charges. Also new at 10, 3 people rushed to the hospital after overdosing on heroin in Harrison Township. Neighbors called police after they saw a driver rolling through yards here in the 2200 block of Falmouth. When crews got there, they found 4 people passed out inside the car. They used the antidote, naloxone, to revive 3 of those people. The driver is suspected of being high on something but was not taken to the hospital. He'll be charged with OVI. Now, that case, just another example of the hold that heroin has on the Miami Valley. And tonight, the Valley Free Drug Free Coalition holding this meeting about the drug in German Township. Drug users and their families were able to get resources without judgment so they can get clean.
And really affects all of us. And so the best way to combat that is to make certain that the people around us know exactly what resources are available to them when others in their neighborhoods, regardless of the zip code, are fighting this battle.
Now, tonight's meeting comes just days after the police chief there defended publishing information about 2 recent ODs in the area on Facebook. Supporters saying the post shows that heroin can hurt people anywhere. New security measures to be in place at all Dayton public schools by the beginning of the new school year. That's the plan from the Dayton Public School Board. It all comes after a 7-year-old girl you see here was stabbed on a playground. Arlise Coulter has an update.
You can't possibly have a successful curriculum in academics if you don't have a safe environment.
Words of assurance from Dayton Public School Board President Adil Bagarov.
It's very important for us to further improve our security.
Security changes after this incident last month.
It was an adult male on our playground. Okay, but it was a student that got stabbed. And they stabbed a student.
Cameras catch it all go down. A man walks onto the playground, then stabs the 7-year-old girl in the back.
I'm very happy with how the school district has handled this.
Parents happy because the district is now looking into upgrading all of their cameras and equipment on all of their buildings.
I do think, more security measures like, the new camera system, totally support that. I think, we need technology like that.
The district also looking into adding some fencing around 9 of their 30 schools.
Well, security is one of the most important aspects of any school and any school district. I would say it would go toe-to-toe with academics.
While it hasn't been approved yet, the district already identified where they can save money. By reworking contract bids on supplies, the district says no jobs or programs will be lost.
We will have to afford it because we cannot afford not having an environment that's safe enough.
Now, right now, the district has estimated it'll cost less than $500,000 for all of the upgrades. The plan is to have the changes in place by the start of the new school year. Now, creative punishments growing in popularity. Back in 2013, we showed you one mom who made her son wear an anti-bullying sign after getting into trouble. Well, now the Warren County prosecutor has a unique punishment idea of his own for a teen accused of making a bomb threat. David Forsnell wants the boy to handwrite 1,600 apology letters. It's something Springboro Schools supports after being forced to evacuate the school back in April. And many parents we talked to also agree.
I think it's a very good idea. I think this needs to be stopped. I think there's too much of it. And these families are traumatized. And that's what people have to think about, are these families and what they're going through.
Now, the suspect, 18-year-old Andrew Stadler, faces inducing panic and making false alarm charges. So do you agree with the idea? Let us know on Facebook, Fox 45 Dayton. A weather alert right now. Meteorologist Jamie Simpson tracking storms for tomorrow. Jamie?
Yeah, they're starting to show up on the radar now. These are the first storms developing. They will ultimately affect us just out ahead of a warm front, and they'll slowly migrate eastward and be in the Miami Valley. It looks like midday, early afternoon tomorrow. That's round number 1. What we'll see happen is another setup just like we saw there near Chicago head for us later tomorrow night. So 2 rounds with a break in between. The main threats will be wind and flooding, but we may see some other things as well. We'll time it out for you with Futurecast coming up.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Stay ahead of Mother Nature. Sign up for our free weather text alerts. You can also download our app for breaking news alerts. Just head on over to fox45now.com. We also now know the identity of a Columbus girl killed after a tree fell onto a cabin near Cincinnati. 11-year-old Jaden Larkey was staying at Camp Livingston in southeastern Indiana. Lightning hit the tree around 3 this morning and it came crashing down on the cabin. No one else was injured. And new information tonight on a man accused of shooting his girlfriend at Arby's. Bond is now set at $1 million for this guy, Reginald Varner. Police say he shot and killed his girlfriend in the parking lot of the Arby's in Moraine. Then police say he drove around with her body in his car. Tonight, Varner is in jail on charges of murder, tampering with evidence, and gross abuse of a corpse. Also, a homeless man officially charged with murder now. Prosecutors say 52-year-old Jason Shanti shot and killed Robert Hildebrand at an apartment building on North Smithville Road. Hildebrand was taking care of the apartments, and according to police, He found out Shanti was storing stolen items in the building for safekeeping. So Hildebrand locked him out, and that's why police say Shanti shot him last week. Shanti has been indicted on murder charges. He's a repeat violent offender too, by the way, convicted of robbery in 1991 and 2001, and attempted felonious assault in 2008. Caught on camera tonight, surveillance photos from a Meijer store in Englewood show a purse snatching. Our reporter Rhonda Moore's mom had her purse ripped off her by that suspect. You see her here. Her purse was later found, but all the contents were missing. Rhonda says her mom is doing okay, but is shaken up. These are great pictures of this suspect. If you recognize her, call Englewood Police. You're watching your 10 o'clock guarantee. That is 10 straight minutes of news and weather, only here on Fox 45. And still ahead, incredible, and we mean incredible, body cam footage of a fire rescue in Tip City. Fox 45 is the only one to talk to these residents about their harrowing escape. Plus, it's been a year since a Kettering Fairmont wrestler was injured, the amazing progress he's made, and what's next for Ahmad Doucette. Next.
Mic check 1 2 3 check. Yeah, here at the Browse a Wild bookstore, you can see just how much damage is left over here on the side.
It's been exactly 1 year since a local wrestler suffered a traumatic injury at practice. Ahmad Doucette's fight for recovery has inspired the entire Kettering Fairmont community. Last month, he got to stay home for nearly a week. Now he's working to wean off of a ventilator. The next goal is to transfer him to a specialized rehab facility. His family thanking everyone for their prayers and support. And if you would like to mail a card to Ahmad, you can head to our website and click on this story. A new commander takes over today at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Today, Bradley McDonald replaced John de Villiers as the commander of the 88th Air Base Wing. De Villiers will now work at the Pentagon. More than 20,000 employees work at the Air Base.
I'm looking forward to taking care of airmen. This is an outstanding unit in our United States Air Force, and to me, as a commander in the world's greatest Air Force, leading airmen, it can't get any better than that.
Now, McDonald previously served as the vice commander of the 10th Air Base Wing at the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado. Still ahead, a raging fire destroys a historic building in Tip City.
I remember coughing on smoke and my eyes burning. I remember calling 911.
Fox 45, the only ones to talk to the survivors, how the community is now stepping up to help them. Next, plus Alzheimer's, a devastating disease, and now striking earlier. The early onset warning signs you need to be looking out for coming up. And here's a live look outside on our Kettering Health Network Skycam. 2 rounds of thunderstorms. One might bring hail, the other damaging winds. Jamie's in next to tell you when they'll hit.
I love that the guy was like, Steve Baker's like,
That's what he does.
douche.
He is.
When I went to go cover the vigil for the Troy
Terrifying body cam video captured by Tip City Police. You're watching officers evacuate residents living above a bookstore that's caught fire. Only on Fox 45, Kelly May talked with those residents about what happened. She's live in Tip City with their story. Kelly?
Well, Adam, tonight you could see all the debris from that fire that's still here outside Browse a While Books here on Main Street. This huge piece of wall still left from the fire just sitting on the sidewalk, and those residents, their apartment was right up there. They lost everything. And tonight, Tip City's rallying to get them back on their feet.
Lives above 108.
Giant flames tower over Main Street in Tip City. Fire crackling out the windows of the historic Browse a While Books upstairs.
You need to open that door. Can't get to that door.
Shannon Mitchell, her husband Jeffrey, and neighbor Terrence Randolph are struggling to get out alive.
We looked around and we saw some lights in my window. I look out the window. There's an officer saying, "Hey, you need to get out."
Being very, very frantic and trying to get out a window to the fire escape. Because the door to the fire escape wouldn't open.
In some clothes her mother brought her so she doesn't smell like smoke.
Have you really processed the fact that
everything's gone? Yep. Every time I think of something. There was some pictures of me and my father as a baby. I lost my father when I was very young. My wedding dress. That one hurts.
This is what their apartment looked like before, then this morning, after. Nothing.
All we have is what we were wearing that night.
This is the first donation.
Across the street at that place on Main, donations to help are already coming in. Clothes, appliances, furniture.
I've been here my whole life, so I know that this is family. Tip is family.
And after a terrifying night, all three victims are beside themselves to have that family.
To the town, thank you so very much from the bottom of our hearts. You guys have been amazing.
And their lives.
I'm here. My friends, my roommates, my neighbors, we're here. And it's going to be okay.
Back out here alive, Harrison's restaurant down the street from this bookstore has also started a gift card style tab for these residents because they lost everything, including their food, their groceries. So if you want to help them, you can go down to Harrison's and put money on that tab so these victims can eat for the rest of the week while they're trying to get things back together. The town has also started a GoFundMe for these victims. If you want information on how you can donate, go to our website, fox45now.com. Live in Tip City tonight, Kelly May, fox45now.com.
All right, Kelly, thanks. Now, the fire originally started around 9 last night, an electrical fire that crews put out in about an hour, but it rekindled around 5 this morning, and that's when it got worse. And police and fire showed up and evacuated those residents. All right, we got a weather alert right now we need to tell you about. The chance for storms. Meteorologist Jamie Simpson tracking the threat level. Jamie?
Yeah, it's as high as it's been all year. In fact, we have a moderate risk for severe weather, and that works into the northern Miami Valley, Mercer, Auglaize County, Logan County, and we only get a couple of these a year. And the difference between moderate, enhanced, and slight is the amount of severe weather expected in these areas. So this is where we'll see the most severe weather, a little bit less down Dayton and even less towards Cincinnati. But everybody on the screen here has the chance for severe storms. I've got a nice little Facebook post that explains these a little bit more that you can check out. Just search for Jamie Simpson. So here is the threat. Let's start off with some good news. I've dropped the tornado threat a little bit. It's not zero, but it doesn't look like a great setup for tornadoes for us. What we are going to get tomorrow night is a line of damaging winds. Exactly where that moves through is still a little uncertain. It depends on where storms do develop tomorrow evening to our northwest near Chicago. Afternoon storms could bring hail, and 2 rounds of storms could bring heavy rain, which could lead to some flooding. So here's Futurecast. Quiet with some sun filtering through clouds early on in the 60s. Noontime, the storm's first round still off to our west. They'll move through most likely early afternoon with some heavy rain, some lightning, and possibly some hail. They'll move on by and we'll get a break for a while. Evening commute should be fairly quiet around here. And then a few storms redeveloping in the evening. These not severe yet. We wait until likely just after midnight. This is midnight. This is the round of storms. As it moves through, will bring a line of damaging winds and also some very heavy rain. So the flood threat may not come until overnight. That's never a good thing in the dark. And as we head towards Thursday morning, we're all done, right? No, not exactly. A cold front still to our north on Thursday. And as it moves south, we'll see some storms redevelop. And we're going to have to watch very carefully across the south in the afternoon. Some of those storms could get strong as well. The front does push south tomorrow night, though, and we're in good shape as we head into the weekend, and we'll get a nice drop in humidity for Friday. Currently, we're sitting in the upper 60s to low 70s with low humidity, though. High pressure in charge. A very pleasant night. There's the first storms developing. Those are the ones that we'll deal with early afternoon tomorrow. Overnight, 62-year low with some late clouds tomorrow, climbing up to about 81. We'll get those storms early afternoon, then the break as we head through late afternoon and evening, and then the storms we get overnight tomorrow night could be the worst of all. So more storms south could be strong on Thursday. Nice day Friday, a lot like this afternoon, in fact, and then near 90 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Could be a stray thunderstorm Sunday evening. Much better chance for us to get some more storms on Monday. If the storms hold off until late enough, we could hit 90 degrees Monday, certainly. Coming up at 10:35, I'm going to walk you through a little more simplistic way of explaining how things are going to play out for us in the next 36 hours.
All right, Jamie, thank you. A deadly disease affecting folks at a younger age. Up next, hear from a man diagnosed with early onset Alzheimer's, why he's not letting his diagnosis slow him down, and the warning signs you need to be watching for. Plus, a new benefit to exercise. The surprising results of a new study coming up. Fox 45 is changing our set purple tonight for Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month. June is dedicated to educating folks about memory loss, especially early onset. Natasha Williams now with a man diagnosed in his 50s and the adjustments he's making, all while maintaining a positive outlook.
For Eric Thompson, this can be one of the most frustrating places in the world.
I didn't know where I parked. So I ended up walking concentric circles around the mall for about 25 minutes, widening out until I actually saw my car.
Thompson has early onset Alzheimer's. He was diagnosed at just 54 years old.
I remember driving to work one day and I looked around and it's like, I don't know where I am. I have no idea where I'm at. And it's like, well, I need to get to work. I couldn't find my way to work.
Thompson was lost for 2 hours, but eventually decided he needed to go home and call his doctor. But he couldn't even find his way home.
So I pulled into a gas station and I called my wife and I said, you're going to need to leave work and come and get me. There's something really wrong. I'm lost.
It took several very frustrating months, but finally a team of neurosurgeons led by Dr. Douglas Charee of The Ohio State University confirmed the devastating news. He wasn't going crazy or just getting old. He was in the early stages of Alzheimer's. It's something he was very familiar with.
I've seen this story before. I've seen it too many times. It's the same thing that happened to my mom and my aunts, my uncles and my cousins.
7 of Thompson's family members have been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. He knew his life as he once knew it was over.
My doctors were very honest about that.
He quickly realized his life in the corporate world was over too. He says, of course, it was very difficult, but he prayed about it, and his faith helped him decide he could still have a fulfilling life with some serious and very necessary adjustments.
There's nothing that can be unplanned. Even meals, I have alarms for meals, for medications, anything that I consider to be time sensitive. I have an alarm on my phone that will go off. And it will actually, the note will say, take your medication or eat breakfast.
Once he got on track, he decided to embrace the help that was available.
So that's when I contacted the Miami Valley chapter of the Alzheimer's Association. And they have been a blessing to me. That's a great organization.
Thompson is now on the advisory board of the Miami Valley chapter of the Alzheimer's Association and is an advocate for the disease traveling around the country. He says although his life has greatly changed, he's thankful for his wonderful wife, great doctors and support system that he credits with his ability to stay pretty stable cognitively for the last few years. In Miamisburg, Natasha Williams, Fox45Now.com.
200,000 of the more than 5 million people living with Alzheimer's have younger onsets. And new research tonight finds you can help protect your memory and thinking skills with daily exercise. Regular aerobic exercise increases the size of the area in your brain responsible for verbal memory and learning. British Columbia researchers say the activity reduces insulin resistance and inflammation. It also stimulates the release of growth factors and chemicals that make that part of your brain healthier and sharper. Well, still ahead, it has been 2 months now, believe it or not, since 8 people were gunned down in Pike County. Up next, where investigators are now focusing their efforts in the search for the killer or killer. Plus, nanny cam nightmare, what one woman saw that's raising privacy concerns. Coming up.
2 rounds of potentially severe storms tomorrow, but a break in between. We'll time it all out for you coming up.
Now that summer's kicking into high gear, you may want to warn your kids about having too much fun.
Tomorrow, why the doctor may be treating your kids for the wrong problem.
That story and more tomorrow from 7 to 9 right here on Fox 45 News in the morning.
This is Fox 45 News at 10.
2 months ago today, a family of 8 was gunned down in their homes, and so far, no arrests have been made. The victims in Pike County have all been laid to rest, but their families are still searching for answers. Steve Levine now as to where investigators are now focusing their efforts.
BCI investigators continue to use this former chemical plant here in Waverly to investigate the 8 family members' murders. I spoke with Leonard Manley today. He was the father of Dana Roden, one of the victims. He tells me Father's Day was extremely tough, and he went to her graveside and promised that her killers would be caught. This road that leads past 3 of the gruesome crime scenes has been open about a month. but neighbors still living in fear after 8 rodent family members were shot to death in their homes.
Now that traffic's back, it feels like life is back, but it's not back because it's not normal because they're not around.
Linda Ritchie Farmer lived right next door to Dana Roden and her family up until 2 months ago, when the Rodens were murdered execution style. 3 young children were left unharmed.
Still unreal. It's horrible. Hey, buddy.
The neighbors now have a living reminder of the friends they lost. Their son Langdon now caring for Pete, a hound dog that belonged to the Rodens, who still looks for his family.
He was whining and everything, and just whining.
You could tell he was missing his family.
Mm-hmm.
And how'd that make you feel?
It made me pretty sad.
2 months later, neighbors anxiously awaiting word from the law that those responsible for the horrific deaths have been captured.
Well, they're not really saying anything.
Last month, BCI investigators transported the 4 homes where the murders happened to this warehouse to preserve the crime scenes and search for evidence. Authorities not saying if a marijuana growing operation found at one of the homes is linked to the slayings. The AG says since the murders, they've received more than 100 tips from the public. While investigators say they are doing everything they can to close this case and bring the killers to justice, I asked Dana Roden's father, Leonard Manley, what he thought. Though he didn't want to go on camera, he put up his hand and bit a big 0, saying absolutely nothing. We're in Waverly. I'm Steve Levine.
Well, it can happen at any moment. An object lands in the road, forcing a bus driver to make a last-second maneuver, potentially saving your child's life. And Ohio bus drivers are preparing for that situation right now, weaving through a high-speed course, hoping to leave these road cones unscathed. The Department of Education says it is the largest turnout they've ever seen for their advanced driving course.
It teaches them what their bus is going to do if they need to go left or right very sharply. We have Offset Street, which is going to show what their bus can do in a tight space. And then we also have diminishing clearance, which is in case we have to go through a tight area, what to look for on your bus.
Now, drivers are encouraged to push the envelope, go at uncomfortable speeds, and not use the brakes. It's all designed to give these pros a real-life experience.
All right, I want to show you the setup in general for tomorrow and tomorrow night in terms of how things will play out. As we head through midday into early afternoon, a warm front will approach from the west, and that will bring a round of thunderstorms. They could have some heavy rain and perhaps some hail, although the hail threat is going to be much greater off to our northwest across northern Indiana towards Chicago. Then that will move on through, and late afternoon to early evening, we'll get a break between the warm front and the cold front, but at that time, somewhere in northern Illinois, we'll see thunderstorms developing that will start to generate some wind, and a line of storms will head towards us, bringing that threat, straight line wind damage, after midnight. Probably 1-2 a.m. is the time frame it looks like right now, but because we get rain with the first round and rain with the second round, if they are heavy, we could also deal with some flooding, and that will be an overnight problem for us, which is never a good thing when you have waters rising in the dark. Now, this is a brand new Futurecast. It's going to look different from what I showed you 15 minutes ago, and as we head towards the middle part of the day, it kind of weakens these storms as they move on through. I'm not certain that that is going to be the case, but if that is the case, that's great news because we'll remove one of those rounds of heavy rain. 5 o'clock should be quiet for the evening commute. In the evening, maybe a few isolated storms, but we wait until late evening and overnight when these storms will start to approach here at midnight. And as these roll on through, that is likely going to be a line of straight line damaging winds. It all depends on exactly where the worst winds go. May they be to the north or to the south or right at us, will determine how much we have to deal with wind damage across the area. Thursday morning, some leftover showers early. There's another cold front, though, that is going to head south through the day, and that means another round of storms Thursday, especially the southern half of the area, and we'll still have some humidity around, so those storms could be strong as well. And then slowly things will start to taper off on Thursday evening, and with that will come a drop in humidity, which means Friday is going to be a lot like this afternoon. Very, very nice out there. Upper 60s to low 70s right now. We'll drop another 8 to 10 degrees down into the low 60s. It's really going to be a very comfortable night and a nice start to the day in terms of how it feels. But as those storms midday come through with the warm front, humidity is going to jump right back up. It's going to be very sticky as we head through the evening tomorrow ahead of that second round of storms. So some hail is possible, but mainly just some rain with those midday, early afternoon storms, and then the overnight storms could bring strong winds and heavy rain once again. Now, Thursday, again, across the south, we could have some strong storms. Friday's very, very nice, very nice. And then we get hot, near 90 Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. Saturday's a great pool day. Could be an evening storm Sunday. Better chances Monday.
All right, Jamie, thanks. Well, we're going to be tracking the storm hour by hour and have weather and traffic every 10 minutes over on our morning show. It begins at 4:27 on ABC and then continues from 7 to 9 here on Fox. Caught on camera, a Chicago police officer repeatedly punching a man in the head as the suspect is face down in a front yard. Now, 22-year-old Robert Foreman is suing the city over excessive use of force. Foreman says he was a robbery victim, but cops say he ran from them when they were arresting him for public drinking on Sunday.
The guy's down. His hands was not swinging up, resisting throwing bows or trying to flip the officer off. He was not.
Police say they've launched an internal affairs investigation. As for the officer in question, police say he remains in the field. Also caught on camera, a Maryland homeowner shocked to see a little girl on her nanny camera when she was checking on her dog. Sandy Kaplanis says she has no idea who that girl is or where the picture came from. The photo was a still shot that never changed. So what happened?
I see this little girl and I'm like, what is this? So I log back out and I log back in and I see my dog. Then I log back in and I see this little girl. And this happened over a period of 24 hours.
Now, the home surveillance camera manufacturer was contacted and a spokesperson says the company is working with her to figure out what happened. Technicians will inspect the camera when it is returned. And your Vote 2016 coverage tonight. Social media, a major part of our lives, especially during an election year. Folks sharing opinions on Twitter, Snapchat, Instagram, and of course on Facebook. Jeff Barn follows the efforts to engage both millennials and baby boomers online.
I think this is the Twitter election.
That's how one political analyst describes the state of the 2016 presidential race, as the political potshots between candidates play out on television and now Twitter, with Republican presumptive nominee Donald Trump somewhat leading the charge.
Trump has been obviously very good at getting attention. He's been very good at using language that speaks to a particular base of his supporters.
That's something Nathaniel Lubin knows a little about, as someone who moved from President Obama's re-election campaign to head of digital strategy at the White House. President Obama boasts nearly 5 times the Twitter followers than Trump and Hillary Clinton combined, numbers that rival some of the nation's biggest celebrities.
The kind of overwhelming reason why President Obama was so good is because he himself is someone who people connect with and understand. He reads a lot of content and blogs and looks around at the news himself and has strong opinions on how best to convey information and speak to people.
Experts and politicians alike point out that social media is not just a tool to share information. No, unlike radio and television, it's a two-way conversation.
We can hear from constituents about their concerns and things that they want to see addressed in an election and up here in Congress.
Do you write your own stuff?
I do. I don't write every single one, but I'm involved in a lot of it.
And while Hurd and Lubin point out that even though social media is an ever-growing presence in the political landscape, the older ways of communicating aren't going away anytime soon.
People are engaged in different ways. I still do a whole lot of town halls. We still send a whole lot of mail. We talk to folks on radio and TV.
In Washington, I'm Jeff Barn reporting.
Now, Twitter, the website Twitter Counter says Donald Trump gains about 26,000 new followers a day, while Hillary Clinton gains 19,000. Now, that brings us to our question of the day. Will social media affect the way you vote in this year's election? You can let us know at fox45now.com. Well, patrons hoping to get what they pay for at Starbucks, right? Just got the backing from a judge. How the lawsuit can now move forward over shortchanging people their drinks. Plus, we're going behind the scenes at Kentucky's Ark Encounter when the new park is set to open. Next. And there's a live look outside at our Kettering Health Network Skycam. Jamie has your final forecast next. Megan, you got the female count. You doubled it.
Yeah.
I did? It's because I'm pregnant.
Well, I mean, we've only had Alex in here all day.
Oh, I thought you meant our viewers. No. Oh, I know, but technically I'm both because I have a boy in my body.
Fox 45 News on the move.
Well, 2 Starbucks customers want to serve the company its own cup of joe in court. A federal judge now says he's letting most of the lawsuit against Starbucks move forward. The suit claims the coffee company intentionally left out 25% of the drinks. The company countered the suit by saying the drink met expectations of reasonable customers. The judge says the customers suing may seek damages against Starbucks for fraud and false advertising. And we're going back in time and behind the scenes to Williamstown, Kentucky, where they're building a biblical-sized ark. It's going to be 510 feet long, 85 feet wide, and 8 stories high. Some people believe in separation of church and state. It's Tuesday, guys, and say they won't visit when it's built. But like Disney World, the Ark Encounter is a for-profit park with one difference.
We didn't build this to be just entertainment like Disney. We built it for a religious purpose. Otherwise, we wouldn't have built it.
The state of Kentucky is giving $18 million in sales tax incentives for a little economic salvation. 2 million people a year are expected to visit after the grand opening on July 7th. And there's only one of her, but a Nebraska penguin is celebrating a major milestone today. So meet Opal. Pretty cute. Big attraction at the Omaha Zoo. She turns 39.
That's good for 39.
Today, right? Still moving well. And she's now North America's oldest living female African penguin. Zookeeper celebrated with a special ice block cake filled with her favorite treats. In case you're wondering, the average penguin lives between 15 and 20 years. So very happy birthday.
I was
Opal.
wondering that, by the way.
Right?
Yeah,
You're 39 and you think, wow, that's pretty old.
She's getting up. Oh, well, speaking of, it's my parents' 30th anniversary tonight. Got to say happy anniversary to them.
It is. You posted a sweet picture on your Facebook page. So.
I did. You guys should check it out. But no, I'm really proud of them for making it through that 30 years, especially with me.
You're proud.
I knew this was coming.
No, but happy anniversary. Coming up in sports, we've got lots of baseball for you. Reds win. They snap a really good streak by the Rangers. So I'll tell you about that. And also, if you don't want baseball, I've got some football for you. Bengals training camp schedule came out today. So details on that.
All right.
That does
I
it
took
for
up
us.
all Jamie's time.
Way to go.
lights come on, everybody screaming, lighters in the sky, yeah, everybody singing, every word to every song of the girl they're taking home.
Welcome to the fourth quarter on Fox 45. I'm Magna McCormick. Got a little jams for you today. The Texas Rangers are on a season-high 7-game win streak as they open a quick 2-game interleague series at home against the Redlegs tonight. The Reds looking to snap 11 straight series wins for the Rangers, which they can do by winning just one of these 2 games. Tonight is game 1. The Reds are throwing righty Anthony DeSclafani in just his 3rd start since coming off the disabled list. Reds up 3-0 going into the second. Jerickson Profar hits a 2-run shot to right to close the early lead. The Redlegs, thanks to the Redlegs' 3-run homer by Jay Bruce in the first. Top 5, Zach Cozart, runners on 2nd and 3rd, and this hit would bring him in. 2-run score, and Cozart gets a slide into 3rd, makes it a triple, and it's 5-2 Cincinnati. Top 7, 6-2 Reds. Zach Cozart up again, this time. This one's out of there. A solo home run for Cozart makes it his 11th of the season, adding to the Reds' lead, 7-2. Jay Bruce, look at this shot. Slides down the line. That's a beaut right there. 8-2 Reds. Game just finished. Final score 8-2. So there you go. Splits. The Rangers did not get that streak. Terry Francona and the Indians looking for a win over Tampa Bay tonight. To the bottom of the 8th, Cleveland is up 3-0. Jose Ramirez homers to deep right. That brings in Mike Napoli for the run, and the Indians go up 5 later. Juan Uribe, he takes the pitch deep left. That ball is fair. A solo homer. Uribe's 4th game in a row knocking one out of the park. Cleveland doesn't even let the Rays get on the board. It's a shutout at Progressive Field. Final score 6-0. Dragons pitcher Tanner Rainey was selected to play in the 2016 Midwest League All-Star Game taking place tonight. Rainey took the mound in the 3rd inning for the Western Division, gave up 1 run in 23 pitches. This game's still going on in Cedar Rapids, Iowa. Western Division leads 8-7, top of the 7th. The Dragons finished the first half in the Midwest League split season format with a 21-49 record. Now, after a 3-day break, they'll open the second half on Thursday night at 7 against the South Bend Cubs at Fifth Third Field. Ty Boyles will start on the mound for the Dragons. Dates for the Cincinnati Bengals training camp have been announced today. All events and practices are open and free to the public if you want to get there and check out the team before opening day. The Bengals are working towards their 6th straight playoff appearance. This year's camp will include joint practices with the Minnesota Vikings as well as a family day event inside the stadium. All practices will offer fans opportunities for free player autographs. It all starts on Friday, July 29th at Paul Brown Stadium. Saturday, August 6th is Family Day. It will include activities like face painting and an activity zone, which should be fun. And the 2 team practices on Wednesday and Thursday, August 10th and 11th, will give fans the opportunity to watch the Bengals and Vikings prepare for the team's preseason opener on Friday, August 12th. For full training camp schedule, go to our website at fox45now.com. Coming up, I've got details for tomorrow's championship parade in downtown Cleveland to honor the new NBA champs. Plus, LeBron James is her man. Cleveland's 100-year-old fan has much to celebrate. Hear from Frankie next. You're watching the fourth quarter on Fox 45. That was not my best highlight reel, I'll tell you that. 4 heavy? Okay. I hope she wasn't watching that because that was not good. Ugh. I felt like I couldn't catch my breath.
Megan's family, if you're there, make a sign.
I feel like $1 million. Go, Cavs! Go! I feel like $1 million. Go, Cavs, go!
Welcome back to the fourth quarter on Fox 45. I'm Megan McCormick. The Cleveland Cavaliers ended the city of Cleveland's half-century-old championship drought Sunday night as they defeated the Warriors and became NBA champions. If you haven't heard, the state of Ohio will celebrate tomorrow with a championship parade and rally beginning at 11 a.m. The parade will feature 60-plus units, including the OSU marching band and, of course, the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you can't make it, coverage will begin at 11 on Fox Sports Ohio, and we will have all your highlights tomorrow night on the fourth quarter. Finally tonight, when you're 100 years old, that's enough in itself to celebrate, but Freddie says the Cavs bringing the NBA title home makes it even better.
I feel like $1 million. Go, Cavs, go!
She's waited long enough for this. So cute. Fox 45 News is back in minutes over on ABC 22. Stay connected 24 hours a day on fox45now.com and Fox 45 on Facebook. See you guys tomorrow.